Hi guys. I came out here to the van to make this video because I thought it'd be pretty fitting for the topic. But this video is about driving. And I am sure everybody watching this video, if you're an adult, have all driven and do drive and own vehicles. So I wanted to ask you guys if you have ever experienced what I'm going to talk about, because lately I've talked about some things regarding the paranormal. However, it's not something you would expect to happen when you're driving. At least I don't. And all I wanted to do was to tell you guys what I have experienced several times, and I want to see if you guys can relate to this and had this happen to you while you are driving. Several times this has happened. There's been times when two things. I was either being severely tailgated by another automobile that I would watch in my rearview mirror, or I was on like an interstate or a throughway where somebody who was driving at a faster speed than myself would start to pass me. I'd be in the slow lane. They're coming up in my mirror in the fast lane. And what has happened several times to me while driving, and this is the honest God's truth. I can't explain this. I don't understand it. But I've actually had vehicles that were either tailgating me or in the process of passing me that have just completely vanished, disappeared. One of these times happened when I was on my way to the doctor's office and Sandy was riding with me. Rarely does she ever go anywhere with me, but this time she was with me. And so she could vouch for this being true because she could see the vehicle in the mirror on the passenger side. I had the vehicle in both mirrors, on the outside mirror and the rear view mirror. And there was this black car that had two people in it. I could see two people, two adults in the car. And it was tailgating me hard. I mean, right up to the back of this van. And I don't like it when someone tailgates me. I used to be the type that would like just tap my brakes, like to flash the lights, like get off my ass. I don't do that anymore. I just tried to ignore them, but this car I could not ignore. I kept looking, and then I'd look ahead, and then I'd look in the mirror again to see if this person was going to pass me or what were they going to do. You know, I was driving 60 mile an hour, and I come over the top of a steep hill, and this is what's called the Chautauqua Ridge. You guys have heard me talk about this before. It's where the elevation of Western New York drops, and then it goes down to the elevation where Lake Erie, one of the Great Lakes, is. Because that's only 15 miles or 15 minutes from here. So I was at the top of the Chautauqua Ridge, and this car is in my mirror with these two people in it, just tailgating me like no tomorrow. And I'm doing 60 mile an hour, and when you come down off of the ridge, you really pick up speed because it's quite steep. And down at the bottom, it's all vineyards. It's grape country for wine, the Welch's Company. So there's a bunch of vineyards, and the speed limit drops from 55. I do 60 and a 55 a lot of times, but it's 55 that drops to 45. Well, coming down off that hill, if you're not using the brake and slowing down, you could get it up to 70 or better. And so I knew with the 45 at the bottom of the hill, that quickly turns into a 30 mile an hour speed limit because now you're coming into town, into this small village. So I'm braking and trying to slow down, and this vehicle is just on me. And it's not backing off. It's not trying to pass me. And I'm thinking, what is this idiot going to do? You know, when I get down to where it's 30 mile an hour, they're going to really get upset that I'm in front of them. So I'm going down this hill, doing 60, starting to slow down for the 45, and I was watching this car for miles, just tailgating me. And I was looking at where I was driving, looking in the mirror, looking where I was driving, and the third time I looked up in the mirror, the car was gone. Nowhere to turn, nowhere to go, did not pass me, did not brake and start to slow down, or I would have seen the car pulling away from me as I was starting to slow down going down this hill. It just disappeared. Sandy thought maybe the car went into the woods. And I would have seen that in my peripheral vision in the mirror, the vehicle leaving the road. That did not happen. As a matter of fact, I looked for it on the way back from the doctor's office because I went back the same way I went down. No skid marks, no sign of a vehicle going into the woods. And if you were going to turn into a residential driveway, like if this person lived on the road and they were going to turn into where their house is, you would have to start to slow your vehicle down, which would make our vehicles pull away, because you can't just be doing 60 miles an hour and then just turn and whip right into your driveway. You'd roll your car over multiple times. The momentum and the force just don't allow it. The physics, you can't do that. And yet the car was gone. And there was no other car coming up behind me, no one else on the road but this vehicle and myself. And I talked about it all the way to the doctor's office with Sandy. I was like, where the hell do you suppose that car went? She says, I don't know. She says, I don't know where it went. And she kept checking the mirror. I was checking the mirrors. It just vanished. Well, anyway, that's what's happened to me before. And over here on the split to go to Cold Springs on I-86, we got a split that is an exit that goes off the interstate, but instead of it being on the right-hand side, it's on the left, meaning the exit is leaving from the fast lane. So when I go over the bridge, if I'm going to go to Cold Springs, I got to get over into the fast lane to take this exit on the left side of the highway. And I did that. I got into the lane while I was still on our bridge. And I had a dump truck, a white, rusty, just a small dump truck, like the one I plow snow with. I moved over because I saw the truck coming, so the truck was coming up on my right. The truck front bumper made it even to where this sliding door is on the passenger side of the van. He got right about mid part of the van when I started to fork and exit off. So I'm going this way, he's going straight down the highway. So as I'm bending around, watching where I'm going, I look out the passenger window to see us split on the highway, and that dump truck was gone. There's no other exit to take. Guardrails on both sides of the highway that also bends around in the opposite direction. The highway bends to the southeast, and I was bending around to the northwest. The truck should have just been right out this window, should have been moving at his speed limit, and just us parting like this, like a Y. The truck was gone. There was nowhere for this truck to go. He stayed in his lane, which was on the right side because we traded sides. And I had my left turn signal on that I was exiting off. And at our speeds, we just forked apart, and I looked out this window and there was no truck. And I saw that truck coming up behind me. I saw the truck starting to pass me in the passenger mirror. He made it up to the side of the van, and as we forked apart, the truck disappeared. Many times I've had this happen while driving, whether if I'm on a 2-lane country road, a 2-lane main drag, on the highway. I've had it to where other vehicles that were either tailgating me or on the verge to pass me just vanish. And I know that sounds absolutely unbelievable, but it has happened and continues to happen. Now, how on earth do you explain that when a vehicle's got nowhere to go at a high speed, whether if they're 60 mile an hour or 80 mile an hour? Because a lot of people on the highway Our speed limit out on the highway is 65. Most people are either driving 75 or 80. They're all either 10 or 15 miles over the speed limit. Always. It's just common. But when a vehicle at that speed is there, and then within a second it's not there, I'm not even going to guess how that's possible. I'm not going to guess to say what happened. I don't know how you explain that. I just am making this video to ask you guys if you've ever experienced that also. That's all I'm wondering. I don't care to know what it's all about. I don't know. I don't understand how that's possible. Why that happens. I don't know anything about it. All I'm telling you in this video is that it happens. Sandy has seen it happen. It happens to me quite often. It makes no sense. No sense at all. How a vehicle could 1 second be there and the next second it's gone. That's all I wanted to say. So let me know down below if you guys have ever experienced this in your years of being a licensed driver. Have you ever seen vehicles that have just been on the road with you and then 1 second they're there and the next they vanish? I'm just curious. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.